Okie doke. All right. All right, y'all. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Yeah. How y'all doing? We are going to have a conversation. We want to have this conversation and get the community's take on this because this is a pretty severe community issue. All right. I have a co-host ZZ up here. We did a live stream on this on For the Culture yesterday. So if you guys have not seen that, you guys need to go to For the Culture on YouTube and go check that out. Because that was a really good live stream. So you definitely want to go check that out. Go to For the Culture on YouTube and check that out. Because we were playing the videos, the reactions, and all of this stuff. But I'm gonna have to be clear with you guys. This is unacceptable. What we saw. If you guys don't know, what happened was there was a mother who was attacked. I don't know if BX, stop me if I say something I shouldn't be saying. But there was a mother who was attacked by a crowd. I don't want to use the word gang because people use the word gang. You notice yesterday when we did our live stream, we didn't use the word gang because they're not a gang. They're a bunch of kids. Okay. And when people call them a gang, that rubs me the wrong way because they are children at the end of the day. They were a crowd of children, but they're not a gang. And I'm working to dismantle the link that black people have with gangs. Anytime we talk about a gang, you automatically think of black people. So we have to kind of dispel that. But they were a crowd of students they were like elementary students leaving a school, and they were following a mother and her two young children. The young children, I don't know how old they were. They were about maybe they looked around 9, 10-ish, the boy. And the girl looked around like, what, 7, 6, 7? They were picking on them. They were recording, teasing them. Boo up the bam. Which led to the mother stopping because they surrounded her. And then they started physically assaulting her. Physically attacking her. And they the video kind of speaks for itself. We're not, of course, going to show it, but she was physically attacked to the degree where she was put in the hospital. Now, she actually has syphilis. She thankfully made a recovery, but the community, and this happened in the south side of Chicago. The community,
Wait, Afroly. Is it syphilis or sickle
I was
cell?
just about to say that. Sickle cell, I
it
think.
was sickle cell. Okay, sickle
Yeah,
cell.
sickle
Yeah,
cell. Sickle
yeah,
cell.
okay. All
Yes.
right,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you for
Okay, we
that.
got that
Sickle
cleared
cell.
up.
Thank you for that. Okay, so she already had sickle cell prior, right? Now she's able to recover. She was able to recover. The kids are fine. She did press conference and apparently I haven't seen it, but I've seen a couple of videos since I did the live stream yesterday where a GoFundMe or a Gibson Goes, there's been a donation page that's raised over $200,000 for her and the family. So that was really good. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there in Chicago looking for the kids and looking for the parents of those kids because apparently those kids have been causing a problem in the neighborhood for a few years. And the school hasn't done anything about it, and the parents aren't doing anything about it. And now this situation has blown up and is out of proportion now. Now the community is that has almost, I wouldn't say like a bounty, but they're looking for the kids, all right? And the parents to hold them accountable. And I want to ask you all what your take on this is, and then what do you think should be done? Not to who do you think should be held accountable? Of course, we know the kids, but what role do you think the parents should be punished? How severely do you think the parents should be punished, or if at all, or the school? Okay, because we've seen some of the parents' reactions. Majority, from what I've seen, of the parents are actually, or the mothers, I'm gonna say, because I haven't seen any of the fathers. That's a sign. I haven't seen any of the fathers involved of the children who were in the attack. The only father I've seen is the father of the victim. But the mothers are coming out, and I've seen too many of the mothers defending the children, okay? And the aunties defending them. Now, there was like a couple of them who was all like, hey, you was wrong, and that's not right, what you doing. It was some kind of nonchalant, kind of downplaying it. But we want to have this conversation because what we don't want is for this to set a precedent or a trend in the community where people get to beat people up for clout, where people get to attack or jump people for clout. We don't want this to become a dangerous trend in the community. We want this to be an example of things not to do, of the way not to behave. So when I ask you guys, that's my question, and I want to know what you guys think about that. All right. ZZ, how you doing? I don't know if you've seen anything in addition to what we discussed yesterday, if you found any more information or anything like that.
I haven't seen anything additional yet. But I'm glad you did confirm what we did see yesterday about the 200,000. Did you see anything about somebody giving her a house? Because I seen that.
Somebody in the video where they said the 200,000, somebody said they gave her a house.
Okay.
That's what they had said. So I haven't seen the GoFundMe though. I'm saying, but I've seen multiple people say in videos that. So I'm saying that.
Okay, got you. Okay. Now I haven't seen anything else, but yeah, this is an absolutely egregious situation. Definitely go check out that live from yesterday. It was thorough. But yeah, this is sad to see. It's disgusting. It's sick. You know, it was very wicked behavior, unfortunately, from these children. I think it is for sure a reflection of the parents. The parents need to be held accountable. These children need to be held accountable. The parents need to hold the children accountable. And I'm glad to see the community out there is holding the children and the families, period, accountable. You said yesterday in the live that this is clearly being shamed, not only from the people in Chicago, the communities in Chicago, but also from Black people on social media across the country. You know, nobody is feeling this. This is not a part of our culture. We respect our elders, period. Especially those that are disabled. Even if you're not elder, if you're disabled to any degree, if you have children with you, we don't pray on the weak. You know, that's just not a part of our culture. So this was very disappointing to see. I think the children definitely need to be expelled from the school. The school needs to be sued because the mother was going back and forth with this school, telling them about the harassment that her children was going through from these specific children for 3 years. So that school definitely needs to be sued. Them children may need to do some community service. They might have some of them. I think some of them are old enough to do juvie. So if the parents do decide to press charges, I ain't mad at them. Like, for real, you know, that's something. That sister is already sick. So whatever they feel, whatever that is on that fatherless, the mother's heart to do to them, you know, to however they want to go about it, it is what the fuck it is, like, for real, you know, because that is something that is such an egregious action. They have to feel the depth, the severity of what they did. You know, they have to feel that, and they have to remember that as they go through adulthood. They have to know that you can never do no shit like this again. This is completely unacceptable. So I'm really not mad at any form of consequences that the parents see fit for them, to be honest. But at the very least, they for sure need to be expelled from that damn school. And they need to do some form of community service, and they all need to come out with an apology. Even the children that were just recording, not just the ones that was actually doing the assault, but even the ones that was recording, everyone involved needs to be doing a public apology. Written apology, not no bullshit, crying on fake camera, crying on camera with excuses and talking about peer pressure and all this other nonsense. I seen that other little girl did. Bullshit, I'm sorry. And the mothers, the like you said, the mothers trying to cape for them and, you know, make excuses, talking about my child is an AB student and all this other nonsense. No, parents need to be held accountable too. They need to come out with a written statement and public apology as well. So yeah, that's just the bare minimum. But for sure, I'm backing whatever play that the parents feel they want to do to protect themselves and bring justice to their family, because that's egregious.
Yeah. I also want to say this: the punishment needs to be very loud, because what they did was loud. What they did went viral. I'm not, and this isn't just to like humiliate them at some like sick fetish, but the reason why I say that is because we live in a very dangerous time on social media where negative things quickly become a trend. And if kids see this and see, okay, well, you can kind of go viral on TikTok, or if they think that jumping somebody or beating up some older woman or beating up some lady or something, if they feel like this is a quick way to go viral, that can become a trend. And I don't want this to become a trend if they don't see the consequence from this. If children see the consequence, if they see, man, those kids in Chicago, those kids, they got like severe consequences from that. I don't want to do nothing close to that. If they see that, that will stop this. But I don't want this to become a thing where they did it. They came out with some sorry ass apology. Oh, I'm bad. They did some fake tears on the internet. And then next thing you know, now it's a trend where people are getting beat up as they walking home from school. I don't want that to be a thing.
Absolutely, I agree. The apology needs to be just as loud as the action. Y'all got up on that damn camera. It was going on that lady. Not only was they assaulting her, they was insulting her the whole time and her children. And the fact that not only this is an adult, but the children was so much younger than her. One of the girls was 13. She's in 8th grade. You're talking about a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. That's insane that you even have so much energy for those little children. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So absolutely, it should be just as loud as that assault.
I agree. Now, BX, we got a lot of people in here, so I don't know if you have seen it. If you want to give a take, and then you can set the decorum, please.
I only saw bits and pieces. I saw the response, and highlights of the video when they were hitting her. I would like to say that I love the response of the community. As far as punishment goes, whatever the school decides, whatever the parents decides, we're on board with that. I think what's missing is an element of the village, right? When we say it takes a village to raise a child. So I'm gonna give an example of something that I did as a child and how I got in trouble. I didn't see my parents around, so I figured I could be outside and I could just cuss up a storm, right? And the lady said, "What you over there cussing like that for?" Nah, my mother said I could cuss, right? Lied on my mama. Um, do you know she told my mama whenever I did something wrong, and my mama didn't go to her and say, "What the F you telling my child don't do this and that?" See, that's another thing. We're not allowed to chastise anybody else's child too. So if a child knows that if my parent is not around, but I'll still get in trouble if I dare follow the crowd, then maybe she wouldn't have had so many children on her, from what I saw. So I that's my thing there. I just wish that I think mental health really plays a part in that too, and maybe there's a need for family therapy, not only for the victims but for the perpetrators, because who knows what's going on in the home.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And we discussed that on YouTube yesterday, that a lot of these people are like squatters, or apparently at least one family. There was a mother who's 30 with 5 kids. She's squatting. She was living with the mom, and then the mom, they like burned the house down or something crazy like that. So it's a bad situation. And they do need to be rehabilitated after punishment though. I'm not saying I don't want it to be, well, they grew up in a hard household, so that excuses this type of behavior, because it doesn't. But something does need to happen in home. Something does need to happen. I agree. All right, but let's get started. Let's get to Cash. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, brother Afro Elite? Good to be here. Shout out ZZ, Auntie BX, what's happening?
Peace.
Peace to the whole panel, the whole chat.
He's sad.
Yes, so I am foundational Black American by ethnic. My mother is foundational Black American. My father is from Trinidad and Tobago. So as far as this story goes, I love what BX was saying, because it goes back to a village raising a child, and there's something lacking with these children, and I think it's maybe a lack of love, maybe it's a lack of resources, maybe it's a combination of things, lack of discipline, and there's definitely a lack of fear of adults. Because when I was growing up, man, I would be too scared to even cuss in front of adults, let alone act a fool. Man, I remember my next door neighbor got her behind whooped. I mean, whooped with a belt in front of the whole neighborhood. Everybody laughing because she was twerking outside in front of her driveway, and her mother wasn't playing that. Her mother yanked her up. She didn't realize her mother was home early from work and whooped her behind, put belt to, and that's just one example. But I feel bad for the mother that was attacked. You could tell she's embarrassed. So, brother Afro Elite, you're right, man. The punishment has to be just as loud as the attack was. And I'm a fan of some type of corporal punishment, since they want to do that in front of everybody, because this the age of the internet, man. If y'all want to attack people and act a fool on camera, right? Okay, you could get punished on camera too. You know what I'm saying? Hell, this is supposed to be a democracy. Maybe we could vote on the proper punishment. You know what I'm saying? And there has to be community service with the parents. We have to charge the parents because there's some type of neglect going on right there, right? And another thing with it, I would like to see the parents stop making excuses and getting on camera, because you're just making it worse. And I can see why these kids acting a fool, because these parents acting like, oh, but my daughter gets straight A's, blah, blah, blah. Don't nobody care about them straight A's, man. You can straight A some belt across her behind for acting a fool on camera, since y'all want to embarrass that sickle cell woman and traumatize her children. Had the sun covering up her belly. You know what I'm saying? Like that, man, I felt so heartbroken when I saw that. But shout out to the community for standing up. And I don't know how other states do things, but you have forms of punishment in Atlanta, Georgia, where you could be like sent to jail on the weekends or something like that as a part of your punishment for something, right? So like for a crime like this, I think maybe the parents that, were involved or whose children were involved, maybe they should go to jail for the weekend or something. And, we should see the community work that they're doing. They should do community service with their children. Something, man. We got to do something. We can't let this slide. So I'll pass the mic.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And let me harp on that, because I know there's a couple other people who want to speak. First off, my parents, and I'm not going to be long, my parents did not, I'm not going to say my parents didn't defend me, because they did. There was cases where the adults were incorrect, and my parents did defend me on that, so I thank them for that. But my parents were not the people who didn't want to hold me accountable at all. My parents, and I think this is something, a cultural aspect that kept our children in line, that our families, especially our parents, did not want us to embarrass them. Okay? And if we went outside, this is why they made sure we were dressed properly. Okay. This is why they made sure we had, our clothes were clean and our hair was done anytime we went out the house and all that. Cause our parents refused to allow people to talk about us, cause that would be a bad reflection on them as a parent. Okay. And especially our behavior. So if word gets out that little Johnny is acting up, that means Johnny's parents aren't raising him right. And that's what everybody's going to be saying. And Johnny's parents don't want that to happen. Don't want word to get out that they bad parents. So they're going to instill in you a sense of discipline, because they ain't trying to get embarrassed like that. They didn't want the family name to be sullied like that. And I think that was a very important cultural value that people just lose nowadays. People have like no shame and embarrassment and having bad kids. Like we need to kind of get back to that. I feel, but let me move on to the next speaker so everybody gets a chance to speak. Let's get to Mr. Ether.
Mr. Ether, how y'all doing?
We're good, brother. How you doing?
You look like you've been getting some sleep, man.
Yeah, I've been resting well, bro.
That's what's up, man. I know you've been working hard. What up, BX? I love you. How you doing?
Thank you. Love you too.
Yeah, and hey, ZZ, how you doing? Now, ZZ, I did not know you had a twin, girl, and y'all twins. That's crazy. So I'm gonna continue watching, because I just discovered your other channel. So yeah, I think everybody needs to look that up and support it. And we got two.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I'm identical twin. A lot of people just now find that out, but yeah.
Look, it's crazy because the universe, they could have gave us two of anything on this planet, I'm so glad they gave us two of you. Okay, they could have gave us two Candace Owens as far as we concerned. Man, can you imagine?
We, you, thank you.
So I appreciate y'all, man. The very fact that y'all holding this live, it just goes, to show how far we're able to take accountability for ourselves. From the very beginning, I saw nothing but community accountability for these things. We don't really, it's not really our nature, when something like this happened, that we start, projecting outward and saying that, well, it's the YT person who destabilized us. It's the government. We don't do all of that. We immediately look inward. And I'm glad we're doing it even now, even through delineation here. As far as what should be done, if it turns out to be a bunch of tellers, I think they just need to be deported. But as far as if it's, our community, then yeah, definitely I agree with what ZZ said. There should be some sort of punishment. There needs to be, like she said, a written statement, public statement, community service needs to be done. And even possibly, some time spent in jail, and I feel like these things need to be investigated, deeper, because obviously there's no excuse for the type of behavior that these children are displaying. But I feel like that after all the punishment has been, taken care of, and like we actually make an example as a community out of these people, I also think that there should be some sort of redress, addressing whatever underlying conditions that might have led up to these type of things, so that we don't have any type of repeat offense of these things. There should be some sort of not only, reparations would take care of these things, but just some sort of program, some aid that goes into community intervention that does these things. We already have intervention people who create these community intervention organizations in these various places, even in Chicago, that is made to like stop crime and stop violence and stop DRUG and all these things like that. And I think this is just one of those things. But I'm very happy that we don't let these things get 10 miles down the road before we do anything. We as soon as we see something like this, we stop and we immediately take care of it. We don't see this every day. This is really my first time really seeing like this in a while. The last time I remember seeing something like this on video, it was up there in New York, and it was a bunch of male kids beating up on a female. They jumped her up there, and then come to find out, it was a bunch of Caribbeans who was doing that stuff to her. It was a bunch of immigrant children. So I think that we really need to look at these things very carefully and not assume and not guess at anything. And I'll end by saying this: we really need to. What am I trying to say? I guess we need to solve this issue as much as we can without any outside group interference. So, if we gotta send them to jail, then that's just what we gotta do. But if we can handle this within our group, our own community, as much as possible, I think that should be preferred. Thank you.
Yeah, possibly. I would recommend in this situation, because at the end of the day, they are children. They are. Despite how horrible what they did was, they are children. And jail is not a place for rehabilitation. There's several documentaries where people go to jail and they come out worse. Some people come out better, some people find themselves, but jail is not. If there is like I don't know if juvie is a little bit better than that. Like if juvie has like different programs and stuff like that. Now they do need to be punished. I'm not trying to say they don't, but I don't think just throwing them in the cell would. I don't think that would fix that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that would fix that. I think they need to be scared, but I also think that there needs to be some type of something more, I would say. I'm not even at this point 100% sure what else that is, but there needs to be something more than just jail, in my opinion. But as long as the community is on it, I'm sure we're going to find a solution. Let's get to Set You Free, and then we're going to get to Manny.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I am African American male, 24 years old.
All right. Like, you mean a descendant of United States slavery, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So, a couple of points I want to make here. The first one is, I believe that we should be teaching self-defense in schools. And I know it may be a questionable thing, but you got to think about it. A lot of countries do that. You got Japan, you got South Korea, you got China, and a lot of those schools in those places don't necessarily see a lot of bullying or a lot of physical violence going on around their schools. And it's solely because they're been teaching these things, and not only self-defense, but that includes anti-bullying and violence prevention. You know, so that's just one key point right there. And then you got to talk about school funding. You know, I feel like every school, or at least in these hotspot areas, such as like urban areas schools, I feel like we should have task force in these schools that do hotspot security or mandatory threat assessments. You know, these teams where you got the dean involved and you got a couple of group of people inside the school that hit these hotspot areas where you see a lot of fighting going on. You see a lot of, you know, just over the top stuff in these schools. You know, I feel like security is a very important piece when it comes to schools. And as far as going to the point where you want to find a resolution for these kids who committed these heinous crimes, I don't say jail. You know, let's go directly through courts and contracts with courts where they are involved in schools. Whether that's you have to go to the court to and they sentence you to some type of therapy. They give you a curfew. They give you a no association list. They give you weekly check-ins. And this is for the people or the kids that are committing these assaults and stuff like that. I feel like the court should be more involved with hitting this issue. Mandatory attendance, you know, saying you need these things in order to, you know, get off our list and back in these schools where you can be a successful student. And then, like, at the end of the day, we're talking about funding, right? How do you fund these things? Well, you got taxes. You know, a lot of people don't even see where their taxes is going at in their cities. These taxes can fund these things. You got juvenile-based fines. You know, children that get fines for not hitting curfews. Well, that money towards that fine can go towards funding these things in these schools that these children need. You got federal and state. You know, I feel like they should be funding a lot more towards violence prevention and anti-bullying and self-defense in these schools, because it 100% can help. And like you said, with jails, you know what I'm saying? That's not the answer. I wrote a 20-page paper on the school to prison pipeline and how that torments children by foreshadowing their future. And what's an interesting fact is, you know, every African American that is born, they base those statistics to build prisons. And a lot of people don't understand that. And so that's my piece. I hope I didn't go too fast to let it go over everyone's head, but I feel like I hit some good points.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some things that can be done without to make the situation better, because it's not like we're just throwing the kids away. But there does need to be a punishment. But we do want the kids to get better. Okay, we do want that. So I agree with you on that. And I agree with you on the fact that the school needs to be held accountable too. There needs to be better schooling. Schooling in America is honestly declining. Public schooling in America is declining, and it has been for some generations now. And we need to really wake up and talk about that. I like your point. I'm gonna circle back to it, but I want to get to everybody, give everybody a fair chance to speak. So let's get to Manny.
What's up, FBA family? How everybody doing this? Or I should say, good evening. Huh. But anyway, is he there?
Peace.
Good evening. He can still hear you. He's just
Oh, okay.
he might have got a call or something.
Oh, okay. My whole thing is that it all starts at home. It's about where these kids are seeing, because these is learned behavior. It's in my opinion, kids like that, either they're going through something at home, pretty much. It's usually stuff like that happens. It's usually a kid that probably going through, like, maybe a parent that's very violent towards another parent. It could be a lot of things. So I feel like a lot of these kids' households just need to be cleaned up, and pretty much basically it's not rocket science. Plus, it's about their environment. A lot of these kids lack, opportunities and certain programs that we used to have back in the day. So I feel like these kids need some after school like programs they could go to, and I think that would be a great help. And I'm a huge fan of Afro Elite. I'm been your subscriber for about 4 years now, and I just land my plane there. Hey, BX.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. I heard everything you said. Thank you. And you're absolutely right. I have to agree with you. It's a thing at home. If you, I can guarantee you go to the homes of the kids there, of the students there, you're gonna find so many damn red flags. You're gonna find so many problems, so many issues, all of this stuff. So, in order for us to prevent this from ever occurring, we got to get to the root of it. So we don't see, we might solve this now, but in the next couple years, we might see another similar incident. And we don't want to see that. So we want to get to the root of the problem.
And one more thing before I go. If anybody that's interested in speaking Tut, I'm a Tutney speaker. So just follow me, okay?
All right.
See you guys later.
Thank you. All right. If y'all part of the lineage and y'all want to learn the language, then y'all follow our brother. Let's get to...
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. You have a vetting process, correct, Manny?
Yes, so right now we just making sure that everybody is exactly who they claim to be, because we've been having a lot of problems with people, trying to like tether their way into this as well. And I can't go too deep into it because they listening like 24 freaking 7.
I just wanted to
But
make sure.
yeah,
That's all.
it's a vetting process. Pretty much just try to prove that your FBA, show some pictures of your ancestors, something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, we can tell by your cadence and all that kind of stuff. FBA knows another FBA, but they practice in that too. I heard they've been teaching other immigrants how to like speak like us. Like, I think that's just crazy as hell. But yeah,
So that's insane.
yeah, that's a whole nother level of creepy. I can't fathom. That's something else. You don't see Black Americans trying to learn how to sound Jamaican or hate. Anyway, yeah. So just follow me, man, and good. I'll see you guys later, man. Love y'all. Okay.
Appreciate you, brother. Much respect. Thank you. Let's get to Portiz. You got it, brother.
What's up, family?
Doing
I'm still shaking my head when I see this story, but I'm gonna come at it a little different because in all of this, I'm sitting back and I'm questioning and asking, where is the Black church that's supposed to have a safe space for these Black youth? Why I ain't see none of these Black churches stepping up? You know what I'm saying? These are the places that we've put on pedestals and put as centers of our communities, and I seen the parents doing their part, but I didn't see not damn Black church out there opening their arms like they supposed to be. And I hope my FBA people see this as another sign that they don't step and stand behind our young Black youth as they should. I hate to see comments that's like saying the parents should be in jail or the youth jail in the court system ain't it. Every fucking parent know we don't want them in our business or the jail people. Like, what the fuck? We need to come together as a community, Where are the black fathers? Whether they your child or not, like, we need men to step up. Ain't no way in hell these young boys should have been able to do this in broad fucking daylight to a pregnant mother and their children walking home from school. It's insane.
Was she pregnant? I didn't hear she
She,
was
yes,
pregnant.
she is pregnant and she has sickle cell.
Okay. Oh
So
wow,
it
that's
wasn't even a mental thing. It
She
was
wasn't
a
pregnant. She not
sick.
pregnant. She already. The lady came out and said she wasn't pregnant. She not pregnant.
Well, it wasn't a mental thing. It was definitely a sickly thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm definitely proud of the community, but this is the space the black church is supposed to step up, because you're dealing with young black youth. Keep them out of the court system, keep them out of the jail system. And I'm a mute on that.
right. Yeah. It takes a village to raise people, and this is I think BX has said this as well too. We've gotten to the point where there's this generation of parents who refuse to allow any other adult, even other adults in the family, to correct their children whatsoever. They've become so overprotective of their children, and it's good to protect the children. I mean, you don't want, because there was a point in time where other parents, other adults used to whoop your kids. You know, you send your kid to school, the parents, or the teachers rather, used to be able to whoop the students if the students was misbehaving. All right. And then there was always talk and controversy about that. Now it's gotten to a point where we've overcorrected to where teachers can't even say anything. They can't criticize students. We've even gotten to a point where, like, grandparents can't say anything to the kids. It's like every correction needs to go through the parent, and you got to say something to the parent. You can't criticize the kids. You can't discipline the kids. You can't say anything to the kids. You got to go through the parent, and the parent acts like a defense attorney, not like a parent. But the parent's first instinct is to deny any wrongdoing of the children, and acting as if they're a defense attorney who's all like, my client is innocent and free of all charges. That's the parent's first instinct, and you can't say anything to the kids. And if you say something to the kids or the parent says, you know what, my kid didn't do anything. And this is exactly what you're seeing in this situation. You're seeing the exact same thing in this situation, where they come forth, oh, my kid is an A-B student, she's a cheerleader, she's a this, she's a that, acting like a defense attorney instead of a parent. And we've gone too far, and we need to reel that back very quickly, because this is a very bad problem. Excuse me. Let's get to Sister Deborah.
Good afternoon, you guys. I agree with what was the young man? I guess he was it set yourself free or whatever it is. And I'm coming from a different generation. I'm a grandmother. And just the very thought that it would enter into your mind that you would hit a grown woman, that you would follow this said woman as she's trying to protect her children. And I can't speak for other ministries, but as for the ministries that I'm involved in, uh, Afro Elite, you just put it very concisely in a nutshell. They don't want us talking to their children. So see, I think this is above their children. It's not the church's issue. This is the parents and the grandparents' issue. Those children were never taught boundaries. They were never taught to regulate their emotions. And they were never taught to be self-led. In other words, my mother said, if they jump off of a bridge, you're gonna jump off a bridge too. You might have been subject to get a beating. Just don't let that thought come in your mind. And you know I'm telling the truth. The fact that they had the unmitigated gall, and that chick was bold enough to pass the first lick. See, everybody's not like her. I fight children. I will fight a child over mine. Everybody's not like that. She was very mature. But I know at my age, in my 30s, oh yeah, we would with the pound town on you. Go get your mama, go get your grandma, your great grandma, like help bring her too, because I'm bringing my tribe. But that's not an answer to the situation, is what I'm saying. It's just the fact that they could enter, just the thought process that you could hit an adult, be uh they recorded it, and then have your mother and your parents come out and make an excuse. That is an issue. That's a generational curse in that house, and they've got to go back to the parents. That's
Mm,
why the kids did what they did, because there's no repercussions. I don't know how anyone else was raised, but I can only imagine what my mother did. First of all, you not going to be cheerleading. You're not participating in any special event at all. Once I recovered from that beat down, I know we're not supposed to spank our children. I don't say you abuse your children, but there would have been ramifications. That starts when they're small. I'm not moving that glass. No, you're gonna keep your hands off of that, and when we go to somebody's house, you're gonna sit down, be quiet, don't ask for nothing. I know you guys got that drill also. These children, basically at 13, that's a grown woman. She thought she could pass licks with another woman. Do I want to see children in jail? No. But I believe that there needs to be some generational counseling going on within those families because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. But I did hear the mother say in one of her interviews, the one that was jumped, that the other mother was having difficulties and she was at the store one day, asking, I guess, for extra money or food stamps or whatever she was asking for. So I believe within that little group, there may be some jealousy, particularly against that young man because his father is in his life. The father did make a statement. So we never know. Children can be very cruel and very hostile. But that comes from the parents not setting the goals and expectations of which they need to achieve. It's good to be an AB student. Uh, I'm not lowering that standard for her, but she has an attitude problem. And my mother always said, if I don't teach you, the streets will. And if the streets don't teach you, that cop will. So what do we want? We can't keep saying, oh, we don't want this. No. And to bring it to the church house, I'm going to tell you, I've tried to counsel. They don't want our help. They think we're preaching at them. And above and beyond that, like Apple Lee said, they don't want us to say anything to their children. So when that said monster gets out of line, don't run to the church house because we're not trying to hear. We tried to help you. Everything cannot be fixed through the church. That is a generational thing that's going on like that. I bet you talk to their grandmother. I want to know how their grandmother's talking. Talk to the mother. The fact that you can make excuses for your child's behavior, that says it all. All right, I land my plane. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Let me. I gotta cycle some people out because there are more people who are trying to come up and speak. I can let y'all back up, but I just want to make sure I get to everybody, so everybody gets a word in because I really want the community's take. Sorry, I really want the community's take on this situation. But I agree. I agree with you. I mean, and there was a case too. There was a recent case where one of the women she was talking about the conditions that the child was going through. Let me just. She had said that there was like a family who opened up their pantry for the kids because the kids didn't have nothing to eat or whatever the case is, and then they closed it because the kids was being disrespectful. And that's one thing I got to say too. You can't expect people to look after your kids and to provide for your kids and to mentor your kids if you're not going to discipline them, if you're not going to teach them that they need to respect the adult. I was always taught, okay, don't bite the hand that feeds you, okay, because you can't expect parents to bring you in and let you in their program or whatever the case is, try to mentor you, do after school programs, doing that and you disrespecting the coach. And then they say, okay, well, now you got to go. And then what you're going to do? You know what I'm saying? The community needs to step in, but the parents act as vanguards and prevent the community from stepping in and having accountability. They want the community to be responsible, but they don't want the community to have authority, and it doesn't work that way. You can't have people helping, but they have no say so, no authority at all, and you're not going to do it. Then people are going to be hands off, and this is the result of that. Now the community is all like, I'm going to be hands off because if I can't say nothing to your kid, I'm not going to be disrespected by nobody else's kid. I'm gonna tell you right now. Now I don't have any kids, but and I've volunteered and helped with different youth programs before, but I'm not going to be disrespected by nobody's 13-year-old, 14-year-old. I'm not going to do that. And if you're not going to get them, I'm going to be hands off. And this is where we are. So we got to get to the parents. But I don't want to be too long because I want to let other people go ahead and speak. So let's get to my brother Motion Picture.
What's going on, Afro? Thank you for allowing me on your platform. Um, this is a sad situation all around. Unfortunately, we are from Chicago, and unfortunately, you already know how a lot of these situations goes, and how some of the parents in our community are not handling their responsibilities. So with that being said, we have a lot of things going on in our city that shouldn't be going on. And the things should have been, nipped in the bud a long time ago. Like you said, you can't say anything to some of these parents. You know, we can't say, and I'm the type of person, because I have a strong personality, I still say something. I still, and that can get dangerous, in our city.
Yeah.
By sometimes opening your mouth to people that don't want to hear it, or think you're stepping out of line. So with that being said, this mother in this situation, I think that was over by Jeffrey Manor. That's a little low income area, projects and things like that. And that those kids, are definitely unruly, and it should have never happened. And they haven't been reared to know boundaries and no respect. Because we wouldn't have never thought about doing nothing like that when we was younger. And a lot of the parents over there, we seen the one of the parents of the girls, she was basically defending her daughter's actions and really not, telling her, making her really feel the of what the harms of what she did. And like you said, I seen the other. The community did pull up, and the community pulled up on some of those boys in the girl house over there. They pulled up on them, and she said, all the things
Hey,
that's
you're
going on.
muffled. You're muffled. I don't know what happened.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pulled up on that other lady's house, and their mother is going through some addiction problems. What she said on the video, and like you said, the community tried to help, with feeding them and getting them, food, and like you said, they said the 13-year-old girl was disrespectful, so they stopped helping. And then another problem is they said one of the little boys that actually hit the mother robbed the library lady. Literally robbed the library lady.
Yeah.
So this is a whole nother situation. And like the brother said earlier, you don't want the people to get in. But unfortunately, when it comes down to that, when it's that far gone, somebody has to step in. Because these kids at that point, they robbing people in the neighborhood. You're doing other things. How you somebody got to step in. They're not being parented. So with that being said, my solution is, and these parents need to be charged with at least a misdemeanor at this point. Get that lady some help with her addiction, but they got to be charged with a misdemeanor or something. They should have to do at least 100 hours of community service with
You
their
said I don't
parents.
know if it keep muffling. I don't know what's
I
going
don't know.
on.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I talk a little closer. They need to do like 100 hours of community service with their children. They should have to report to somebody for like a parole officer, but maybe a counselor, where they can basically show what they did with the activities with their kids. And I also think it needs to be something to connect it to the school, where they have to report the kids' grades and their behavior to the counselor from the teachers in the school. So it has to be a whole cocoon of service to rectify some of these problems and see that these kids are being looked after and took care of, and looked after by their parents. But this situation shouldn't be going on, and it needs to be rectified. And that would be my solution, without just ripping these kids away from their foundation, because unfortunately a lot of kids get caught up in the system and it messes them up. But at this point, somebody has to step up. So I land with that.
I agree with that. And that's one thing I'm saying. I'm all like, I want us as a community to have a conversation and reach a solution, to talk about the issue and reach a solution that doesn't really involve the children losing their life in the system. I don't want to just throw the kids away, but something clearly needs to happen, because this has been a problem that we've been noticing, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Now the kids are so bold. I'm telling you, they're so bold. They recorded it. The only reason we know about this is because the kids were recording it and put it on social media. I want you to think, we would not be having this conversation if they didn't do that.
Oh, I forgot to say, I forgot to say this, Afro, not to cut you off, but when in that video when they pulled up to that house, the woman that was recording, when they pulled up to them little boy house, actually the kids had that lady's phone. They had the mother they jump phone.
Oh,
So
okay.
they was talking about we need a car and trying to sell the cell phone to a grown man in the neighborhood. The
Mm.
grown man went through the phone and seen that video. He shared the video.
Oh, well, okay. Oh, wow.
So they wasn't even, they was laughing about it and thinking it was funny. The only reason the video got out is because the man they tried to sell the cell phone to was like, y'all kids are bad as hell and share y'all going viral today and shared the video.
Mm. I didn't know that
Yeah,
part. Okay, thank you
me
for
either.
letting me know. All right.
And you know what? If they didn't have recorded as well, what the sad part is that the same parents that's defending these children now with this definitive proof would be the same ones absolutely defending their ass and saying, "Oh, my child ain't had no part of that. She wasn't there. Oh, no, it was the other kids, and she didn't do nothing. She was just standing around. Or no, she went straight home." So they would be straight up lying, honestly, without the proof, which is absolutely egregious, outrageous, everything between. And also, I think the brother said something about them returning to school. I don't think them children should be returning to school because now we're talking about them being a danger to other children. We already know that the mother has complained about some of those specific children bullying her children already for the last 3 years. So now the rest of them, I'm sorry, all of them got to be grouped together. They got to at least for a year. They have to be expelled at least for a year. They cannot return to the school because now I don't want my children around them damn kids. You tripping? I come up there, they bullying my kids. You come up, you pop in your mouth and you try to buck up at me. Just like Miss Deborah said, I'm on your ass. You got the right one. So yeah, at that point, baby, you got to get removed from the damn school. Point blank, period. I don't go online, go to an alternative school, but you got to get the hell from around my damn kids. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, that's gotta talk about all solutions. All solutions got to be on the table. They do. Let's get to move in silence.
First, let me say thank you. This is a conversation that truly is more of a discussion point as a community. I don't think that this conversation holds any particular boundary when it comes to ethnicity or race because that school demographic was very diverse. I want to say, as a human being, I feel there's a default, not within the community, but within the guidance of parenting itself. And I don't want to use a bunch of word salad and say, hey, this can happen or that can happen. Sometimes it's as basic as you should have never been a parent. It's a baseline. Just because you can procreate doesn't mean you should. There's a level of understanding and basic comprehension to giving birth to another human being. It comes with some rules. It comes with some boundaries. It comes with some common sense. And I can say, as a parent of a parent with parenting skills, I am sad that that's just the basic understanding of what's involved with being a parent is negated here. It doesn't exist. I can't teach those kids any further than they are right now. It's going to have to be chaos entered into their life for them to understand it. And their parents are going to have to exit because that's their understanding point. There's nothing any of us can do as a community to intervene with these children because I didn't hear children on that video. On any of the two videos that I watched from Facebook, my granddaughter sending it to me, to Instagram where my daughter sent it to me, to TikTok where a coworker sent it to me. I didn't hear children. I heard a vicious mob chasing a woman more than a block away from a school property, and aggravated assault is what I heard. That I didn't hear children. I heard a vigilante mob that was chasing a woman down the street with no fear. Because if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Most of us, and let me take that out of I behave for my parents out of fear. True, uninterrupted. I will let you leave this earth in fear. I didn't play with my parents in this this ass. I sure as hell didn't play with another adult. Fear. Because I grew up with people who would put you underground and tell you they were going to do so. I grew up with people who would allow someone I did not know to lay hands on me until they made it home from work. I grew up with enough fear, and then there comes respect. I respect you as the person who is going to tell me right from wrong. I respect you as the person who has been nominated to lay hands on me because my parents trust you. I don't get a say in the factor. But again, there's no fear. Now, you can't, not one of those, I can't even call them children. There needs to be a new term. Not one of them exhibited any ounce of fear, nor any ounce of respect. And there's nothing you can do outside of that model to put another foundation in place without those parents being excluded. You get it from the place that's your foundation. Until you remove that foundation, these demons gonna run rampant. Sorry, excuse me. I apologize. That's the word that fit me for today. And I want to say this and land my plane on a really rocky landing strip. Do you know how many transfer vouchers have been authorized now? How many black and white parents have been allowed through the Cook County School District to remove their children from those public schools within that area and go to charter schools? I mean, they bounced. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the district attorney in Cook County now putting a reprimand in that you ain't got to vote for that says with an excessive mob gang mentality comes adult charges. We're not going to talk about that because
Yeah.
Cook County District Attorney Office, he's already put together a platform to ask for it. You want to know why those children haven't been picked up? Because they're waiting for the rest of social media. They don't even have to do subpoenas now. It's out there. The little girl, the apology, and whatever happens after this. And I want to quote something that I don't think we hear enough. It's going to be surgical. This next move in Cook County, it's going to be surgical down to the letter. Your children will be charged as adults. We won't vote on it. It'll be surgical. And then you'll be able to look back and say, you remember when them kids chased that woman down the street and now all the kids got to do da 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 da. The teachers got to do da 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 da. This will be a turning point and it'll be monumental. It's bigger than this conversation. Several little black children have set a precedent that now what happens moving forward in our legislative, our criminal justice will be based on this corner right here.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you will go about fixing it. I don't know how as a community you would intervene, but I can tell you there is no respect and there is no fear. Anything that happens to these little people moving forward, it will be at the removal of the parents that are their foundation that created this shit. Sorry.
Well,
I
thank you.
land my plane there. I wish and hope everyone the best. And it's a very authentic conversation to have. But there are some that you just have to walk away from.
Yeah, that's true. And thank you for that. Now, we're gonna get to.
Hold up, I got some
Hey, hold
pushback for
on.
that.
I'm gonna say
Though.
something.
I
I'm gonna
got.
say something real quick.
Okay, I'm about to say.
We're
But
gonna
I'm
get
gonna
to
ask.
Hey Goddess, then Hurricane, and then FBAJ. I do want to say that the language and the words that we choose should be more careful because when we use the word demon, when we refer to them as demon, that puts them in this light like they're beyond repair. They're unsavable. Um, and they are children who are not unsavable. These children are not unsavable. Nobody, unfortunately or fortunately, nobody's life was lost in this situation. So let's be more selective with that. I think that's what I think you were about to say.
Pretty much. Yeah, they still kids, man. Let's not do that. And let's not fake like they set a precedent that other children ain't been setting, because there's YT children that's shooting up schools. Let's not do that. So, but I
That's
digress.
a good point. Yeah.
Let's not do that. I'm just saying.
All right. But a goddess, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just happy to be here. I just wanted to give my perspective because this is really disgusting to me. I didn't grow up seeing nothing like this. Okay, I'm not from Chicago. Maybe if I was from Chicago, I would have, but nobody was fighting adults when I was a child. Um, but anyway, what I wanted to say about the situation is that I do feel like these kids, especially the one mom who has 5 kids and she's squatting inside of a place that she's supposed to be moved out of, her kids should be removed from her. The one lady that has the one son that's robbing the library person, and then the other daughter who was disrespectful to the people at the shelter trying to help them. Like, obviously, those are calls for help. Those kids are, with their actions and what they're doing even outside of this situation, is really letting people know that they don't have the guidance and the care that they need. Like you said, they are savable, but sometimes you got to pull these kids out of the depths of hell that they are in. Okay. They might not be demons, but they could be already in the depths of hell. And luckily nobody has lost their life, because situations like this come back and people do retaliate and people do get hurt, even if it was like an innocent bystander. Like, just because this situation happened, more people, including them and their family members and people that's not directly involved in this, could be hurt because of that. Like, what we do as individuals affects our whole community, and this is one simple way that we can see that clearly. One action that you made affect you, your mama, your neighbors. Like, nobody's safe now. Y'all putting everybody at jeopardy because y'all want to go out and do stuff like this. Like I said, luckily nobody's life was lost, but this type of stuff breeds that. This type of stuff breeds the type of anger that make people want to do something to these people. Nobody, and I'm not saying nobody, some people do care that they're kids, but hey, kids get it too. Every day, I got little people in my family that ain't living no more. My cousin was only 18 years old. He don't get a second chance. He don't get to see another day. And these little people that did this need to realize that that could very well be y'all. Y'all moms could be having the worst week of their lives because y'all went out there and did something like that. Like, if you're not worried about yourself or your future, you need to be worried about what can happen to my mom. Now your mom got a case. They trying to sue her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it really has to hit home. And I don't blame the children because their frontal lobes ain't developed and all that stuff. But I just think that it's real sad. And somebody has to step up and make it real to them. I do believe, like, for me, when I was 19, I got locked up. Not like for real, but like I went to jail, not prison or nothing. But that changed my life. That changed my life, and I feel like it got to be real to these young people. Something has to happen to them to change their lives, because if it just get, oh, they're children, let's just treat them like kids. No, they out there doing adult activities. They need to suffer real consequences, and this needs to change their life, or else these kids will not be around for much longer. I guarantee y'all, next 10 years, they won't be breathing.
That's real talk. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, this type of behavior, to your point, this type of behavior doesn't fade away. This is not a fade. I mean, when we're kids, teenagers, we do the worst. I think I've done, maybe prank phone called somebody. You know what I'm saying? Kids do goofy stuff like that. Maybe skip a class or something like that.
Ding dong ditch.
That stuff. Okay, that's a phase that you mature out of. Robbing the library lady is not a phase. Okay, jumping a woman walking home with her kids is not a phase. Okay, that's a problem that gets worse over time. Okay, and as you're saying now, nobody lost their life yet, but next time you rob somebody, what if that person don't want to be robbed? What if that person don't, what happens? What if that person spin back and see you again? You're a kid. Where can you go? You live in the neighborhood. You're robbing people in the neighborhood you live in. You're not even smart enough to think about it that way. Okay? If you go to the library, that means the library is in that neighborhood. What if somebody finds out you robbed their mama and it was you who did it? Now what you gonna do? Now you got to deal with her kids or her family. Like, they're not even thinking about it like this. And they're kids. And of course they're not thinking about it like this. So it goes back to the parents, because the parents are the people supposed to have the foresight in seeing how bad things can turn out if they continue down that path.
And I just wanted to say, yeah, this is ridiculous. Obviously, they don't know what they're doing because y'all recorded a crime and nobody used the word gang stalked. That's what I thought when I saw this. Y'all gang stalked that lady, intimidated her, and then beat Ta. Y'all beat that ass in front of her kids. It was just so sad to me, and they only did it because she said that they was making fun of her son because of her sickness. That breaks my heart. Like y'all making fun of this boy because his mom is sick. Terrible, terrible on the parents, terrible on the children. Y'all should know better. Just very disgusting. I'm gonna land my plane.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely a problem we gotta address. We gotta acknowledge. Excuse me, something in my eye. Yeah, it's terrible. Thank you for that. Let's get to Hurricane the original, and then we'll get to FBAJ, and then we'll get to DJ Finesse, DJ Finesse. Hurricane, you got it. Hurricane. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Hi. I'm watched the video. I'm from England. I live in the United Kingdom. So yes, this has got very viral. The whole world's watching this video, and it's like, what the heck is wrong with black children? Because when they saw these children, they're not seeing. To be honest, they're not even seeing children. They're just seeing black black savages, the same ones that were going around saying Black
Are
Lives.
we really doing this? We doing this with a non-FBA?
Hold on,
We really have a
I
conversation.
want her to go. This is down. Let's let her go.
I just want to make sure, because I'm like, this is about to go. This is about to turn
I
left.
already know. The second she said it, it is about to go left. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you got to say. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm from the United Kingdom. I live in London, in England. I was born and raised here. So when they see us, no matter how old we are, we're not. They don't even see us as children, kind of thing. So when these kids did this to this lady, this type of stuff that they was coming out of their mouths as well, they weren't looking at them as children. They was looking at them as like little. I don't want to say the words that I've heard people call them over here. You know what I mean? I see them as hurt, lost children. There's something going on in their homes because I'm 44 years old, so I'm an 80s baby. I've never heard of us putting our hands on somebody's mum. If I don't like you, Mr. Afro Elite, me and you get at it, right? You pull my wig off, I'll slap you, whatever, right? But that's between me and you. I'm not going to see your mum and kick her down the road. That's just terrible, you know?
I agree. I want you to circle back to that comment you were making about Black Lives Matter. What was that about? What was that?
When someone wrote on Facebook, these are the same people that scream Black Lives Matter, and look, they look at how they treat each other. So why should we treat them any better? You know what I mean?
What do you think about that?
I just thought it's gotten. Listen, when a man gets killed by, we should do.
You can't say K. Okay, but what?
Sorry.
About that comment?
Sorry. Oh yes, I keep forgetting what happened. When a police officer takes our lives, I have the right and a duty as a black woman and a mother and a sister to go out there and march for that brother, because I don't think it's right to take someone's life by putting your foot on whatever part of the body. You know, it was the knee, weren't it? I work in that field. I'm not a police officer. I work in a court, and we're always told, do not touch the neck. So I had the right, and I did go central London with the rest of the people then, and I was with you guys, you know what I mean? It was premeditated, it was evil. But this is what they do here. So when this video came out, the far right were like, wait, hey, we got another video so we can look at these people and say, look at them. You know what I mean? You got to understand. Ever since you got the president that you've got,
but
it's affecting us now.
I want to know your opinion. Hold on, I want to know your opinion. If
my opinion is.
Hold on, but let me ask a question though. Somebody says they cry about Black Lives Matter, but this is how they treat their own community. Now, earlier when you first opened up, it sounded like that's where you were going.
No. I'm not. No. I just sorry. Let me clarify that. That's not how I feel. That's not how I feel.
Do you feel like that's a
My
valid
thing is
point?
their
Do you feel like
children,
do you
their
feel like that's a
children.
valid point for them to bring up?
I don't think it's a valid point because someone going to a shop and police taking them, it's not right. Taking them off the planet is not right. I'm sorry, but it's not.
Okay, well,
These kids, there's something going on in their neighborhood where they've been
I
doing
agree,
this
but
and
it
doing
sounds.
that.
Hold on, now it sounds like you're backtracking a little bit because that does sound like where
Yes.
you were going
Yes,
originally.
backtracking.
Okay,
I'm
because it
sorry,
sounded
but
like that's where you were going until you were interrupted, and now you read the temperature of the room. Now
Come
you're
on.
trying to conform your stance to meet where the room is because you felt like where that was like the room's not going there with it. The room is not
well,
on there. Now you're
well,
backtracking because you said that. You didn't say they were saying that. You said that. Do you
no,
understand what I'm
actually,
saying?
that's what
So
I
hold
read
on.
online.
Now I want to ask you this question though. I want to ask you this. Okay. Do you know who Charlie Kirk was?
That racist guy
Yeah.
that got hit the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Do you know the person who took Charlie Kirk out was a member of his own community, correct? You know that,
And
right?
I thank God that it was someone from his community because if it wasn't,
Yeah.
because they were even marching for that guy in this country,
It
believe it or not.
yeah, I believe it. I do.
They're sticking
Hold
together.
on. Do you know also in the month of September, the same month, there was also in the same day that the person took out Charlie, there was a school incident with one of their people in their communities. Okay, one of their kids. Now we're talking about kids attacking somebody, and nobody in this situation lost their life. When their children attack a school, people lose their life.
Yeah,
Okay, do you understand?
true.
So I'm saying this to say maybe you didn't. I'm giving you context. I'm in America, so this is
Yeah,
what happened in America. There were also 3 other incidents in the same week that happened with Charlie that was independent of Charlie. Everybody,
yeah.
we have our cameras off except for the co-host, so I don't so everybody knows the rules. All right. So I'm saying with that argument, they don't say, well, they say white lives matter and this is how they treat their own community. Nobody makes that argument.
Yeah,
Okay. Nobody makes the
totally. I
argument of
totally agree with
look
you
at how
there.
they judge. Nobody makes the argument of look at how they judge us. And they have a right to judge us or
Um,
to be
can I just say
prejudice.
something? She's getting what I'm saying
Hold
here.
on, hold
Sarah
on,
eats the
ma'am,
world.
ma'am.
Oh,
Nobody.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying nobody is saying. They don't say that. Well, they have a right to be prejudiced against white people because look at what we do to our own people. Okay, but yet when something happens in the black community, despite the fact that we're holding the children accountable, it's always, well, look at us. How can we say Black Lives Matter? That's completely divorced from this situation. Those two
But
things are not connected slightly.
I think we do need to hold the kids accountable. I know they're children still, but we need to nip it in the bud now, or in a few years' time, we're going to be watching America's Most Wanted, and they're going to be on that. That's what I don't want to see. Do you know how many
Okay,
kids
but
I see come to my workplace,
okay,
and it breaks my heart, and mostly our kids.
all right.
You know?
All right, yeah.
It's not our
All right,
kids.
but
NBA
I
kids
want
at
you to
No,
least.
no, I know
understand.
what
I
you're
want you to
saying. I'm
understand.
just saying.
Hold on. I want you to understand because when you opened up, you said, "Oh, they don't see kids. They're just gonna see black, and they're just gonna think black
Yeah,
people do this, and they're
they
gonna see
do.
black people, black people." Okay, well, yeah, they're gonna think that because they hate black people. But it's not as if these kids should be the representative of black children because if we're picking the worst of the worst children to be the representatives of that community, then we're going to have to pick the Dylan Roofs to be the representatives of that community, the Peyton Gendrons. We're going to have to pick the Ryan Palmetters. We're going to have to pick all of those. We're going to have to pick the worst of white kids to be the representatives of their community. And they don't
But
want to
yeah,
go
but
there. So we're not even going to have that conversation where, oh man, now black people going to, now what are they going to think about us now? No, we're not concerned with what they think.
it's
We're
the
concerned
thing
with
with
having community.
us. If one black person does
Ma'am,
something
thank you. Thank you,
collectively,
ma'am.
we've all done it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Girl,
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
you're
you.
not even over here. Please stop
Okay.
grouping yourself with
And
us.
you over talking the whole, thank you, ma'am.
Child.
Boy.
Them damn black Brits
What
trying to
are
call
white
me
people
British.
gonna think? What are white people gonna think? Listen, if we're gonna have this conversation, nobody lost their life in this situation. When they attack schools, people lose their life. So that's you comparing apples to oranges right there. This ain't got nothing to do with no Black Lives Matter. How can y'all say Black Lives Matter if this is how y'all act? Are you serious? And she was going there. She was going there. And then when you interrupted, and I was like, oh, let her hang herself, metaphorically. Let her go. She read the room real quick and pivoted and adjusted her talking point. He was like, oh, I wasn't saying that. No, that's where she was going. That's exactly where she was going. All right.
Can I say something? I finally got my medicine, right? So when she did whatever it was she did, I was getting my medicine. So glad I didn't hear it. But here's my issue. She's in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the issue. The UKians, right? Because we're not gonna call them black Brits, because everybody over there got a Caribbean or an African accent. Anyway. My thing is they come up here and change the trajectory of the panel. We were holding ourselves accountable. We weren't talking about the white tea community unless it was the systems that they put in place. We were really working on us. And so, I mean, I'm confused. They say don't talk about Africa so much, and y'all don't hold yourselves accountable. In the moment we're sitting here having a community type forum for our specific community, here we go. They bring BLM into it, and BLM was made by Caribbeans, okay? But we get the blame of it. I just wanted to say that, guys. But I really like the way the panel is going. We're not making excuses. We're trying to find solutions, and hopefully, whatever can be implemented that's positive for mom and the children for them to heal gets done. Hopefully, it's not a lie about the house, and she gets that too. Even if it's an apartment somewhere in a really nice, fancy building, we don't always need homes, right? I mean, well, houses. And the other children are reprimanded and given therapy. That's what counts. Please don't come up here, y'all, and change the trajectory of the panel. We're talking about us today. Thank you. That's it, Afro.
Thank you for that. That's why I ain't
Who
even
was
gonna go
next,
into it. I already
Susie?
knew them damn black Brits, man. They be on bullshit. Always instigating some shit and always worry about what white folks think. So I already knew that was about to go. They greatest. I forgot who next. I think it's Queen was pressed to go. So Queen, you go.
It was actually my turn, but I can let the ladies go before me. It ain't no big
I
deal.
thought you just what NBA Day, my turn.
Hey,
No,
how's
no,
everybody
that wasn't
going?
me.
How's everybody doing?
Hold on, no, FEAJ, he was next, and then
Oh,
it was.
okay.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, I can tell it
It,
was. Yeah, I knew the second she said black, the way she said it's a certain way when they say the word black. It was. I'm like, ooh, you
yeah, they
said it
put
with
a
an
lot of
attitude. I could
emphasis
already
on it.
tell. I already know. I'm like, I could already black people. I said she one of those.
Girl.
All right, FBAG, you got
But
it.
I'm gonna be honest. This whole shit kind of fucked my head up because it was like, because I ain't gonna lie, I was in a similar situation when I was in the seventh grade. Like I made a lot of people angry at me as a kid. So when it was like the last day of school, everybody tried to jump me. Didn't work out so well for them. But anyway, um, I seen that, and the one thing I did notice is that when the news channels went to them kids' home to interview them and the parents that was responsible for the incident, I noticed there wasn't no dad in sight anywhere,
Mm,
and that really disturbs me because it literally took the men of the community to make this public and known. And we need more men in the community being active like that. We need to set up more things like that in the community, and that's what did also make me smile at the end of the day about the situation because didn't nobody die, didn't nobody have to go to the hospital, didn't nobody get severely hurt in this, but at the same time, us men, we need to be more active in this community, in our community, and we need to reach out to more families that don't, have that presence there and try to lend a hand if we can. If they turn us away, they turn us away. There's nothing you can do with people who don't want to be helped, but help those that do want to be helped. And we also got to start raising our kids to take responsibility for their actions, but if they parents don't know how to take responsibility for their actions, then we can't expect the kids to know how to do that as well. So it's a lot that I see wrong with the situation, but I'm glad that a lot of good did come from this bad situation at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
This situation kind of provides an opportunity for us to not only establish preventative measures, but just to establish a lingering issue in the community. Honestly.
I totally agree, and I'm glad that we get to have this conversation because this has been long overdue. And a lot of people from my parents' generation didn't want to deal with a lot of these problems. Everybody just said, "Oh, you mind your business. You don't get involved in other people's households." And it takes a village. It literally takes a village. And I'm not saying that nobody don't teach their kids how to be responsible or nothing.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that at all. Like in the comments, I'm not talking to nobody in the comments in particular, but I'm just saying like this is what I'm gathering from the situation. The mothers can't be responsible because the mothers got their own mental health crisis that they're dealing with. So we need more therapists in the community as well. We need to be able to feel like we can have somebody to talk to because I know a lot of people that go through this day in and day out and they feel like they don't have nobody to talk to. Like I literally just had a partner that I grew up with. I just talked to him the other day about it because he made a post on Facebook talking about how he just wanted to end it all, and I was like, "What the fuck you mean by end it all?" So it's like mental health is a very big deal, and a lot of people use drug addiction and alcohol addiction and all these different addictions and vices to try to combat their mental problems, and it doesn't work. It only digs them in a hole deeper, and everybody around them is affected by it. So it's a lot. This really is. I really don't know how to just attack it from one end or just stay on one point about it. It's too many things that are wrong in the situation.
Yeah, honestly, this isn't one issue. This is a mixture of a lot of different issues that's existed for the in the community for a long time. So it's not like, well, all we need to do is that, and then problem solved. That's not it. We're gonna have
No, it's
to
not.
approach this on several different solutions with several different
We have
avenues and several different angles. It's gonna take that.
Yeah, we have to attack it how it was constructed. Like it was constructed on a multi-level basis. It's a systematic oppression. So we have to deal with it in a systematic approach.
Hmm.
That's all I really got to say. I'm gonna land my plane there.
I appreciate you. Let's get to DJ Finesse. You got it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Afro, thank you so much for having me on your panel. Hey, panel. Hope everybody's having a great one. Yeah, that last lady kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, y'all. So I know everybody kind of, spirit was kind of from that. But anyways, just to elaborate a little bit, you had one guest up here, Afro, that said about the place or being where you're from or where you live. Okay, a little diversity about me and my background. I'm one of 13 kids. Mom and dad raised us. We live in New Orleans, a bad place for kids to come up, like poverty, and it stems on your home. What happens in your home, your upbringing. My parents didn't play with us. And we didn't disrespect our parents. We didn't disrespect people out in the streets. If an adult said something to you that was out of line, you told your parent and let your parent deal with it. And I'm the same way with my kids. That is your upbringing. That is what you have going on in your home. And how you raise your child is going to be what they put out there in the world. So if you are raising your kids and things are just different with kids, people don't have time for their kids. They're letting games, phones, all this stuff is what's raising kids nowadays. Parents want to be their children's friends instead of being a parent. I'm the grandparent and the parent or the auntie when my sisters had problems with their kids. I was going to the school and I was shadowing you the whole day. I had a nephew in 12th grade, Afro. I shadowed that kid. He was so embarrassed. Oh, you gonna act right. I was in the back of the class. Every class he went to, I was in that class. You ain't gonna be disrespecting these teachers. I did that for a whole week. That kid is a police officer now. Like, did a whole it's what you put out there. If you're not spending the time going to the schools with your kids, because all of that stuff ain't just happening outside. That stuff is happening in the home. It's happening at the schools. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? We got to be the adults. But when you're trying to be your child's friend, these are the things that happen. So I totally dislike what happened to that lady. That is unacceptable, you know, and the parents as well as the children need to be held accountable for it. And the one little girl mom that was on Facebook that was saying her daughter is you was talking about it earlier, how her daughter's A student, she's on honor roll. You're making excuses for what your daughter did. And she's sitting there like they're coaching her and coercing her to give people to say what she was saying, but she was joking and laughing the entire time in a video, which was disgusting. You know, so there need to be some accountability. Whatever the case is, whatever they got to do, if they got to go to juvenile detention, it is what it is. They got to go through what you did. That there's consequences to everything you do.
Yeah.
And I digress. That's all I have to say, Afro.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one thing with this generation that I'm seeing where parents are. Well, first off, I think it's a thing of immaturity, and I'm seeing in some adults who just don't want to grow up. Okay, I get nobody wants to feel like they're old. I understand that, but we got to reach a certain point in the community where we got to establish to people, you need to act your age. Okay, you are not the age of your kid. Okay, we got too many adults who are unfortunately parents who still want to act like they're in high school. You need to act your age. You are not your kid's age. Clearly, you're not your kid's age, and you don't need to be acting like you're your kid's age. So that's a problem. And then the fact that for whatever reason, people are acting as if they can't have a healthy, strong relationship with their kids and not be their friends. I have a good relationship with my parents, okay? Growing up, we had a very strong bond and relationship. I never thought that my parents were my friends, ever. And the reason why is because my parents made it abundantly clear that they are not my friend. And it wasn't in a hostile way or anything like that. They let it be crystal clear that the role between me and them is parent to son, parent to child. It was never no friendship. We were never no peer. I'm an adult now. I still don't see them as a peer or as a friend. Okay?
Afro.
My own bills and rent and all that stuff. They're still not my peer. Okay, so to what you said that's a very dangerous thing, because friends don't raise friends. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Parents raise children. Adults raise children, which means that the adults need to act their age. That's what that means too.
Afro, I have one more thing to say. I have a grandson. He's 12 years old. And his mom, I moved to South Dakota. I used to live in Florida after leaving New Orleans. My daughter is still in Florida. And my daughter called me and said, my grandson was starting to act up in school. He already know how I am. I don't play. His mama don't play. His grandparents don't play. My mom and my dad are still here. They don't play. They will pull up. So I was like, don't worry about it. I'll be down to visit soon. He thought I was just coming down to visit. Oh no, Afro, I went down there and got his looks and brought him back to South Dakota with me. Oh yeah, you going to school with me. You're going to be up here for a while. But I'm ready to bring your behind back, because you're not about to play with your mama. His mom is a nurse, so she don't play neither. But when she get home, like, you want to get caught up with these kids out here. You know, we never played games like that. So he must have thought I was coming to visit, was going to straighten him out and leave back. No, baby, you coming with me. He was up here for the whole school year last year. I bet you went back and he got his act together. Try it again. You'll be right back up here with me. And the next time you come, you ain't going back till you're in high school.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need to get that back. Okay. We need that back. We need more of that.
It's the same thing for my cousin. That's crazy. That's in our culture, though, for sure.
Let's And thank you for that, because that's what we need. We need to get back to that. That's gonna straighten people out real quick. Let's get to Queen, and then we'll get to Delman.
Hello, everybody. Hey, panel. How's everybody going? How's everything going? I just wanted to come up here and say, and Afro, thank you for welcoming me to the stage. This is my first time. I'm not really a TikToker. I came from YouTube, so I'm used to dealing with them white people over there, and I have to get with their ass over there. I have to tear their ass up. I said, let me go back in my black town. So I'm just learning TikTok, so I apologize if I don't know your rules over here. But I did want to say this. On my channel, one of the things that I promote, and I get a lot of flack for it, but at 6'2", heels and Afro, I don't play with them. When it comes to us black women, and I'm not taking away anything from black men, what I've been noticing, and it's a part of my socialist civil circle because I am an activist and I stand up for our rights, but I put our black women on a pedestal because honestly, we are a new race. The things that have been going on in the world right now, including in our community, including with the police department, they are truly overlooking us as black women. Things have been going on. You call the police, the police officers, they don't listen to us. We're already stereotyped as women. And I'm definitely a stereotype one. Being 6'2", I mean, just the way I am and my personality, I'm stereotyped. And as soon as I walk in the room, and I get that, but I don't accept that. I have been posting so many stories of things and treatment that has been going on with our black women, and the amount of attention that we get is honestly little to none. If you even pay attention to some of the stories that's been posted even by the news, the only time they post things for black women, it has to be something where we've done something so bad, or we've walked in the store and stole the whole entire store. I heard the lady before mention about Florida. I live in Florida myself. I go toe-to-toe with DeSantis, who is the governor. I go toe-to-toe with my city manager, the mayor. I don't give a damn what their mammy name is. They are going to start respecting black women. In Orange County, over in Orlando, where Disney World and SeaWorld is at, I can assure you those are the most racist areas of Florida I could ever imagine. I just posted a story on my particular channel where one of the white officers here in Delray Beach, Florida, he assaulted me just by walking in my face trying to intimidate me, and I had to drop the video on him. And now I'm going back and forth with that. You know, that's why I'm going back and forth with the city manager, because they don't listen to black women. They really don't care about things that go on with us. And I know a lot of the finger pointing and a lot of the things that's been on TV are for black men. But if you've noticed lately that's been coming on the TV, it's been really, really, really introducing what's been going on with black women and in our community of treatment. You got what just happened with Portia Williams. You got the young lady over in Orlando, the mentally disabled young lady, how they just basically took her in custody and just had her accept anything, knowing good and well she had mental problems. You had the other black lady with her son. He merely put his hand on a tree and he's being harassed. You got a black woman over in Jacksonville where the white officer beat her to a pulp as if she was a man. He choked her out. He body slammed her, and there were a slew of black people around, but nobody, they got involved by speaking, but everybody was scared to jump in. And then a black sheriff right there in Jacksonville, Florida, he co-signed it. And I'm saying to myself, okay, NAAC, where the hell you at? We put you in office. We expect for people like you and Al Sharpton and some of our black activists like Oprah, jump in it. This is the time where we need everybody to jump in. I don't care what your money is. We are in a times now where everybody need help, but you can, if you pay attention, the finger is pointing more so at black women right now. There's a lot of story. Look at Tish Hyman, where she got disrespected and dismissed because the transgender walked in the same bathroom with her. They basically laughing at her. So it's just stories like that that I pound, I react on, and when I do a live, I'll do a live on YouTube and get 54,000 views, and I don't give a damn if 15,000 comments hate me. I stand firm that black women are a new race, and I feel these are a part of our problems because when we complain about things, we're already stereotyped, we're loud, we're aggressive. Yeah, goddamn it, we're loud because you're not hearing us. We got to fight our children. We got to fight the men. We got to fight the white women. We got to fight the black men. We got to fight the Constitution and the amendment. We got a lot going on in our world, and we just
Can I ask you?
Yes.
Do you feel like that's the cause for this situation?
I feel like
it's like, do you? Because I don't know if you know what we were talking about, or if you like were trying to tie
Yep.
that in. I'm just asking, like, do you think that that's the reason for this, or?
Yes, yeah, no. What I was doing was I'm tying it in to see that no, those kids that jumped this young lady and her children. I know about this story too because I did a reaction video on there too, and she's a part of who I stand for and firm for as well. I brought it in to say there's a lot of stories even highlighting about Black women and the mistreatment. So this is a story that just came about with mistreatment with the young Black kids and jumping on this young lady and her children. But there are a multitude of other stories as well where there's mistreatment coming in on the side of Black women and that they're not being recognized as we have a voice too, and we're getting beaten up on all ends, not just with these children. I mean, it's not many stories we see when kids are jumping on moms like that, but it happened and we need to address it. But I'm also bringing in that there's multitude of stories where Black women are honestly being mistreated.
Oh, okay, and I'm not going to dismiss or belittle that, but I want to say that what we're trying to get at is the children in this situation, and then what the community needs to do in order to repair the children and to prevent the children from, being like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, this is a Black woman incident, because
Right.
you do have Black men in the community who are trying to help this mother out. We're trying to help those kids out. So this is a community issue when it comes to the children. You know what I'm saying?
I understand it as well. I understand it, and I feel like just like the young lady said before, it could be all the community help that there is, and it does take a village to raise children, just like it honestly take a village to raise grown people as well, if you want to be honest about that. The problem that I'm having with it is it doesn't matter how much a village step in, if the people in the households, the moms, the dad, as the young man said before, there's still not going to be any changes. If they don't change in the household, the kids are going to get changed by these same officers that's abusing us anyway. They're going to get changed by them. So it has to start in the house. It has to start in the family, and then the community can help as well.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to get at. We're trying to get at, but we don't want to separate this on a gender basis. We want to attack this from a community point of view.
Correct. No, I'm not separating it on a gender basis. I guess where I was also separating is that as big as this story is, if you want me to be honest with you, it's not as much on the national news as you would think it is. It's more so on national news through TikTok. And I guess I'm landing in the story to say this is a story also, but there are a lot of stories altogether where these particular stories do not hit the news on a national level the way they need to. Whereas if it was anyway, it was other communities, they are all over national news, CNN, NBC, they're all over the place. So it's huge on TikTok, but when you go over to YouTube and other social platforms where this should be seen everywhere, it's not there. Okay. And it's a lot of times because they dismiss certain communities unless it's something where we're stealing or someone just got killed.
Okay, well,
you can't say. Why did she say that it was Black women are a new race?
You gotta say it's alive. But my situation is you brought up other cases.
Correct.
That about police brutality and all of those things. And as much as you're right, and those cases do need attention, those cases are unrelated to the conversation we were having before. And
correct.
And I want you to know, because I saw it, I noticed it, in the chat room noticed it. You brought up these cases and you brought up Black women as if this is what you said, that Black women keep getting ignored. Black women are a new race. I don't know what that means. But you said Black women are a new race and Black women keep getting ignored. Black women got to fight the state, fight Black men, fight this, fight this. So it was on some Black woman versus the world type of energy. That's what you were on.
Right. I'm blaming up. Correct. And I'm blaming up the Black woman because she is a Black woman. And as this story should be on a more national news level, honestly, it's not.
Okay. All right.
And I'm saying that because a lot of the times when situations happen like this, especially with Black women, it's not highly classified in the news as it should be.
Okay, and simply put, you got a lot to say, baby. Give me about one sentence. Why the hell did you say Black women are a new race?
Well, because we are a new race, because they don't look at Black women as being as important as we are. And Black women, huh?
Nah, that ain't it, baby. That
For me,
ain't it
that's
at all.
how I feel about it. That's how I stand firm on
You
it.
said
And
a whole lot for you to get back to the gender divide, which was your whole purpose. I already see it for what it is. That's egregious, outrageous, everything between. This case is not an excuse to go against black men. We are not a new race. We are one race, and black men
okay,
are very necessary to the cause, to
of
every
course they
cause.
are.
So let's not
Of
do
course.
that.
Do you
I'm
feel
raised by all men.
let
I'm
me
an only
hold
girl.
on, hold on. Do you feel like black men are a new race or just black women?
Of
What the
course.
fuck is wrong with this lady? Crazy. Hell no.
You
We
feel
don't
like
get the
black
same
men
attention
and black
either.
women are a new race?
Black women, the black men don't get the same attention, but black men get honestly more attention than black women get. Why? Because they look at black men as just men that stay in jail, men that's always in trouble, men that don't take care of their kids, men that
Men
they
are
look at
the
them
number
like that.
one
But I'm
Okay,
target
sorry.
okay,
of white
okay. So
sea
hold
supremacy.
on,
What the fuck
hold
are we
on.
talking
You
about?
know you just contradicted yourself because
Please.
you
I
said
have
earlier
this.
that ma'am, hold on. You said
Correct.
earlier that the only time black women get attention is if it's negative. Now you
Correct.
say so that makes them a new race. Now you're saying the only time black men get attention is when that's negative, but that doesn't make us a new race. And like, when does race start? Okay, when does race start? Like, what? Because we still get spoken about negatively. So are we not a race at all? Like, what's that?
I'm looking at it from the way. Listen, first of all, I'm an only girl, and I'm raised by all men. I wasn't raised by any women. So it has nothing to do with a gender divide. I'm 50 years old and I was raised by my dad in the military and brothers. So it's not a gender divide to me. What it is for me is a lot of the times when it's something dealing with a black woman, it does not get put out there as often as any other gender or race do unless it's in a negative way. A lot of the times when things go on with black women, it's not nationalized the way it should be, starting with this story right here as well.
Ma'am, this story has gone. This story is a viral story.
It's a
This
viral.
story
A lot of black men talking
on
about it.
Yes.
Twitter alone, this case has gotten several millions of views. Several million views on Twitter, just Twitter alone. Not talking about TikTok or YouTube. And this is being discussed all over YouTube. Now, just to keep in mind, the story kind of just broke. It's not like
Correct.
this is a month ago. This story just kind of broke, and now people are starting to come out with more details. You have whole communities in Chicago looking for the kids. So it's not, so the whole thing of the plight of the black woman gets ignored is not
It
clearly
is true.
the case here.
Most black women's stories get ignored.
But we're
Just
talking,
like with a
okay,
lot of missing
we're
black women in
talking
the world
about,
right now.
what we're talking about is this case in particular.
And I
The
understand that.
conversation was about what should be done to the children in order to prevent this from happening again. You came here with black women are fighting the world by themselves. That's the type
And we
of
pretty much
conversation.
are. Black women pretty
Okay,
much
you said
are.
hold on, ma'am. You said you were from Florida, right?
Correct. I live in Florida.
Where are your people originally from?
From Charleston, South Carolina.
Both
One
of
of the
you.
most racist states that ever existed.
Okay, okay.
Born and raised Geechee and also living in Florida, have family in Georgia, also in Texas and Alabama.
Okay, all right. I was just
Just
asking.
feminine, that, bro.
But thank
Just
you,
feminine.
ma'am.
That's
Thank
all.
you. We gotta continue with the speakers, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Ooh, let her go. She got some cats to feed. I don't know what the hell.
That shit was insane.
Well, I tried. I was quiet for a long time, trying to give her a chance to reach the point. I was trying to give her a chance to reach the point. I didn't know where she was going with that. I was like, "Oh, okay. Did you not know what we were talking about before, or
Like,
whatever?"
I really zoned out for a second. I zoned out when she said black women are a different race. That's what made me tap back in. I said, what the fuck is she talking about? Oh, she going all over the place. But you know what? Let me just say this. Anybody that come on camera, that comes up here, I've noticed a pattern that is that pressed to talk. You turn it on your camera, you turn it off, you turn it on your mic, you turn it off. Is it my turn? You're that pressed to talk. They usually come up here to troll. They come up here to say some bullshit like they on a feminist wave, they on some gender divide wave, they on some any point of anti-blackness. That's what they're trying to push. I don't know why that is, but they be the main ones press as hell to talk, or they get up here and say something pretentious, and it's not hitting as hard as they wanted to hit. They thought they was gonna get up here and say something fucking profound, and it's not hitting like that. It's always one of the three, so it's always a red flag. I knew she was on bullshit. It's the greatest.
In the conversation we've been on here for what, a couple out, maybe like an hour and a half or something, we've had black women and black men in sync, in alignment, talking about the problems of the community. She was literally the only one who came up here on some, black women get ignored and black women have to go through this and we got to fight black men and we don't have nobody helping us and we don't have nobody look. She was the only one. I don't even know how many speakers were up here, but nobody else was on that type of time. And you can clearly see in this case, it was not on that type. Nobody was on that type of time in the case. In this situation, you got black men and women trying to look out for her and her children. And she's like, the only one out of left field bringing up isolated situations as if you can't find situations where black men are oppressed and subjugated that don't get national attention.
Come on now. She know what she was doing.
Like, what? Oh, come on. Boy. Let's get to the brother. I guess we'll wrap it up here. We've had a pretty good conversation. Unless someone wants to come up in the next 5 minutes. We had a man, boy. I gave grace. I'm like, maybe she might be a little, but I'm gonna give some grace. But boy, she did not, man. Ooh, I gave her an out and she did not take it. Let's get to Delmon. You got it.
ZZ had me rolling, though. ZZ a whole trip. Yeah, I have a different type of situation. I'm a single dad, former combat veteran. Lost my son's mother early in the pandemic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't get to raise my sons when they were younger because of how the system is. They take the father out the home around 08. That's when I had to separate from my sons. Didn't have no choice. But I got my sons back.
That's good.
The thing about it, overall, back in the day, they took the switch away. We couldn't, they couldn't get no ass whoopings no more. So my sons are a lot older now. They like 19 and 18. So I put the school to soldier switch on them. Certain stuff you at a certain age, you can't just put on these kids sometime after a certain age. My sons know better. They know that they got to represent me when they leave this house and all that. So they know that I will wait until the snow is on the ground and I will take them outside and they will do front back goes for 3 hours. I turn them arms and them legs into noodles and it goes right to that head. So that's an overall picture, but our problem is an overall picture of economics, and that section of Chicago is up for grabs. They want that section of Chicago. But overall, we need to pay attention to the economics of what's going on with us. We all different in different sections of the country. We got next, but it's gonna be very painful. We got next, and sisters in the chat and all over, y'all gotta get in shape, because when they turn this shit on us, you're not gonna be able to post up in the house. You're gonna have to be on your feet. You got to move. So you have to prepare. You can see how the T's is rolling. You can see how everything is kind of playing out with the economy. So they trying to break it. Something is happening. It's too connected. It's too intertwined when it comes to us. Somebody wants to replace us, but there's something else outside of us that's going to prevent this. We're going to get it back. We're going to get the planet back. And I'm gone.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Much respect to that. Okay. All right. All right. That'll wrap things up there. I think we had a good one. Some solid advice. And as I say, for the sake of the kids, man, the community needs to step in. What we need to understand is that I don't want parents to let their guards down. Parents need to have their guards up high when it comes to their children. They do. But you also have to have your guards up high when it comes to your children, but understand that your children are children who are going to need discipline and correction. Okay, your guard can't be up so high and you can't be so protective where you become a defense attorney. Do you understand? A defense attorney defends their client even if they know their client is wrong. Okay? because the defense attorney's job is to get their client off. That's their whole job, just to get their client off. Whether even if they know for a fact their client is wrong, they'll try to take a deal. They'll try to negotiate some time off or whatever the case is. That's their job. Okay. That's not your job as a parent. Your job as a parent is to raise the child or children. That's not the defense attorney's job. Your job is way more important, which means you can't just be the defense attorney all the time. You have to have this balance between being a prosecutor and being the defense attorney. You got to be the one who's punishing them and defending them. If you continue to defend, which is what we're seeing with the students' parents here, if you continue to defend bad behavior, it enables them to do stuff like this, where they're robbing the damn library lady. Okay, jumping them, not just the kids and the mom, and recording it. Okay, and you on Facebook talking about they get A's and B's in class. They go to cheerleading school. You know what would be a really good thing? A really good punishment, and I want to save this to the end. There should be, plus they teenagers anyway, they shouldn't really be on it like that, no way. There should be, instead of juvie, there should be a ban from social media. If they do stuff like this and the court bans them from having a social media account, bans them from having an Instagram, bans them from having a, what's that other thing? Snapchat. I don't, YouTube is, what is YouTube? Social media? I don't even know if YouTube really.
That's social media. Yeah. I would count that as social media.
You would? Okay. Because some people, okay, well, we can say that too. Ban you from that.
I agree.
Or even if we don't put restrictions on it, like parental restrictions or something, or whatever the case is. You know how when schools give laptops, they got like restrictions on the YouTube tabs you can open and stuff like that. You can only do it for class or a documentary or something like that. You do that, I promise you, immediately these kids are going to get straight. These kids are going to get straightened out immediately. They say, for 2-3 years, no social media. You can have a phone for texting or whatever, just for safety. Because if you take the phone, people are like, oh, the kids aren't safe. And okay, all right. The kids don't need TikTok to be safe.
Get their ass a flip phone.
Yeah, the kids don't need nothing but no texting and calling to be safe. They don't need that. You take social, not the phone. Let them have a phone. Let them have a device. Just take the social media out the device. Okay. Put restrictions on it. When you in the house, you can't, ain't no FaceTime and ain't no nothing. Do that immediately. Okay. These kids are immediately going to get themselves together. Okay. Because I know there's certain states where at a certain point in time, I think the kids like, I don't know what's going on, but hell, a flip phone. Let's give them a flip phone and they get made fun of. That's going to get them straight. Because they ain't going to want to pull their flip phone out when the next kid got an iPhone 17. They not even going to use their phone. They would rather not have a phone than have a flip phone in school. Send them to school with a flip phone. That's it. That's going to be it. That's one of the things that you can do. It wouldn't be violent or whatever. I think that's a punishment that needs to happen. Since you want to post stuff on social media, how about you not have a social media? You know?
Do that sometimes. The courts put a social media ban on certain defendants, right? If they get found guilty. And that's for adults and teens, I believe.
Yeah. Now I don't think that's going to repair because if they're out there robbing somebody, if you ban TikTok, that's not going to stop them from robbing nobody, so I'm not saying that that's the solution in this case. I think that is a solution in cases where children are acting unruly. But in this case, this is to such an extreme, you need a more severe punishment than just banning social media, Because if they're out there doing like literally assaulting people and committing actual violent crimes against people, then banning TikTok ain't gonna do it. You need something more than that. But I'm saying if that was implemented in the community as a punishment mechanism way beforehand, I don't think it would have even ever got to this point. Also, if the parents were, for instance, if the parents were punished, and I'm not even saying jailed, but if the parents had a fine, that if the kid is out there, if the kid breaks some rule or breaks some law or whatever the case is, and now the parent has to pay that bill, because the parents are so nonchalant with the children because they don't have to be held accountable. Back in the day, when parents were held accountable for their children, when parents were shamed for the behavior of their children, they made sure that their children behaved. But nowadays, these modern parents don't care about what nobody thinks unless they're praising. They block out any and all opinions that are not uplifting and are not praising them. Unless you're patting them on the back saying you're doing such a good job, they don't want to listen to you. Okay, well, fine. Since y'all don't want to listen to nobody, but here's the bill that you have to pay. And I promise if you're going to keep getting these bills, you're going to make sure your kid come home right after school. You're going to put your kid in some type of community class. There needs to be community accountability for the parents as well, too. Honestly.
What about those Scared Straight programs, Afrobeat?
You know, I was talking to my cousin about that yesterday at the gym. And that could work. I think they stopped those because there was a lot of lawsuits. The Scared Straight program and all that stuff that did kind of garner a lot of lawsuits. So I think they discontinued those, at least televised. But there are programs like that. There are programs like that. And I think that needs to happen. I know there's like military school or something like that needs to happen. That can happen. I'm not saying needs to happen, but those are things that can happen. Those are things that can happen.
Yeah.
Spending juvie, and even if you spend it in there for a weekend or something, or you got to spend that in there for a weekend where you're out there in the streets doing community service, and your entire weekend is free community service. Things like that get somebody straightened up. You know, you got to go to boot camp for summer. That gets somebody straightened up. These kids are not beyond saving. Let me just say that. They're not beyond saving. But we as a community, we do need to put our foot down right now. Right now. But if you guys want to listen to the playback of this and the live stream we did yesterday, go to For the Culture on YouTube. All right. We have a live stream we did yesterday, and then we're going to put this on For the Culture on YouTube. So go there and you can listen to that. All right. All right. Zizi, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah. Firstly, that's why I was a little hesitant about that UK lady coming on here. I'm glad she did do it to herself. You let her do it to herself. But I will say we already got enough coons, feminists, liberals that's pushing some intersectionality bullshit. We got enough to deal with that are actually FBAs. I really don't give a damn about no non-FBA opinions on this. It ain't your business. You know, keep your ass in the UK and Nigeria or whatever the hell you from. This ain't your business. This ain't your priority. These ain't your children. Y'all got your own slew of goddamn problems y'all need to deal with yourselves. Mind your business. Secondly, I'm backing whatever play these parents is doing. Again, I'm definitely for these children being expelled. I'm for these children doing community service. I'm for the parents doing community service with them. I'm definitely glad you said something about a social media ban. Absolutely. All the children need to be banned. Again, including the ones that weren't necessarily in on the assault, but the ones that were standing around laughing, the ones that had their cameras out, all of them should be banned off social media. You said 2-3 years. I say, shit, make it till they 18. I bet you their ass won't be on it. I bet you they be thinking twice about what they posted. You can't get up on that joint till 7, 8, 9 years. Yeah. You gonna have a couple second thoughts, but hesitations before you post something on the internet. So yeah, I say make it till they 18, but absolutely agree with the social media ban. But I'm back whatever play these parents feel They needed however they want to pursue this situation, whether they want to sue the school, which I think they absolutely should, whether they want to sue the parents, whether they want to press charges against the children, and whether that can happen at least again, because I don't think all of them are of age to even go to juvie. But if that's what they want to do, I'm really not opposed to it, because it is what it is. This was absolutely outrageous, egregious, everything that's win, and it's something that we have to definitely make sure they feel. If not anything, they have to understand the severity of what they did, and a part of that is being held accountable. And they definitely need to make open apologies on camera, for sure. Honestly, I think they need to do it on the news, if I'm being real. But they need to make written apologies to these to the families and to the community, because this is absolutely degenerate behavior that that will not be tolerated or accepted. So, yeah, but I digress. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's true. Real talk. BX, any closing words? If you could close this out.
Gotta ask you, when's the next time you coming back live?
Well, we do have the podcast episode coming out this Sunday. So, I can try to do something tomorrow. I can't try, because Sunday, I want it to Sunday to be about that. But yeah, let me see. I got some stuff to do tomorrow, though. I don't know. Maybe early Sunday before the episode comes out. If not tomorrow. I'll put it like that.
Okay, so I gotta tell you, Afro, lately my sleeping pattern has not been in sync with the times that you go live. And then you don't even give me a chance to answer. You just be like, I'm going live right now in a few minutes. And then I wake up and you're live. My phone didn't ring, anything. I mean, you could call me from Twitter, you could call me from Instagram, you could text my phone. Like, it's just, and I've been missing some really good shows, I feel like, you know? So we got to work on that. We do have to work on that. I want to say this. You know, I don't really understand Black feminists. I think that we are trying to move forward and together. I'm not saying that we don't have issues, but we're trying to heal from the past. I think I was kind of preoccupied because the repairman was here fixing my son's light fixture, but she said something about a Black woman being a new race. Like, what type of mess is that? That's not South Carolina talk. I don't think that's South Carolina. And I was waiting for y'all to say, well, where your people from? Because I wanted to say it, but I had to talk to the repairman.
He did. She said Gullah Geechee, but Foundational said that the tethers of Caribbean niggas be using that to cape. That they be using that to tether.
She kept going on. I'm all like, let's just move on past her. Because she kept mentioning stuff, and I'm all like, I don't know, because to be honest with you, she didn't sound like she had it all up there, to be honest. The more she kept talking, I'm all like, this don't even sound like tether talk. This sound like I missed my medication talk. That's kind of what it sounded like to me. It was going there with it. I was like, okay, this is beyond what the typical tether would say. I don't know what type of, you miss your medication, if you accidentally ate your cat's food. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but it was Black women are a new race. I said, huh? Okay. I said, and I circled it back. I was like, I don't even know what that means.
That's kind of weird. I did kind of invite Marshall up because he does work with the youth, and I really would have loved his insight. So if he could get a final word in, even though he didn't get an initial one in, I'd appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, Marshall.
Peace, family. I'm gonna be quick.
BX just put me on blast like that. Everybody, she put me on blast. She said, "Afro, I gotta call you out. You be just going live and you don't be."
I was cracking up in the car.
Put me on blast.
Oh man. I know Afro like, man, she could have hit me in the back end with that one.
Tell you something, and I'm so proud of Afro and Mrs. Jackson, right? They have really been taking it to Mayor Johnson over there, and they've been really activating politically and stuff like that. So sometimes he doesn't even read my messages on time. You know, my messages go unread for a day or two, but I got to understand he's activating for the community, the whole community, and not just BX, a Black American woman, right? So I'm really proud of the work that the two of you are doing, and please give Mrs. Jackson that our full support. Like, we are amazed with her, and we wish that a lot of our elders were like that, right? And so I like when she said, "Come if you want to act like you're Black or Black like that." Come talk to these white tea judges that's trying to take my property. She is really fighting against eminent domain, and I'm so proud of her. Wishing her the best.
Oh yeah, I'll let her know. I'll let her know for sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you. No problem.
Yeah, so in regards to this whole situation, and I'm gonna be quick. I believe both the parents and kids should be held accountable. I'm a believer in bringing back shame. I think that's the problem. We haven't been bringing back shame in a while. Back in the day, we knew certain things we couldn't do. We couldn't even walk outside without putting some get Vaseline on our face. We had to make sure we was 100% on par with everything. And so now we at a point in time where a lot of people just have no shame. A lot of people have no thought, of what's the next action going to be, the cause and effect. They just do things, and that's the kind of time that we're in right now. So I think that we got to bring that shame back. So therefore, people would think twice when they start doing things like that. That's a disgrace to not only themselves, not only their parents, but the community, right? And the one thing I love about us is that we call it out. We called it out. We have no problem calling it out, right? We called it out and let it be known, and we don't hold no punches. The same energy we say with everybody else, we definitely don't hold no punches when it comes down to this. So I think this line was a good example to show that, because a lot of people think that we just go hard on everybody else. No. We have the same. I keep telling everybody, the energy is rated E for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It see no color, it see no race, right? And that's what people don't understand. And they think that people are picking on them. It's no. Even for some of our people, we got to call them out. Now, so when it comes down to it, I'm gonna land on this. That's my thing. I'm gonna be quick. We got to bring back that shame. I think that publicly they should be put out there. Shame that's wrong. So therefore, other people around the world, not around the United States, know that this is not cool. That what they did was not cool, and we respect elders. Regardless of how you feel about the kid, once you see an elder there, all right, let me fall back and even if we have to take care of that later, right? Because back then, I'm not gonna lie, when I was a little kid, I was young. They actually came to my house, knocked on the door. Hey, ma'am, your son there? Yeah, all right, no problem. They walked with me. We walked around the corner and we got ours in, right? That's how they did it, right? So, and that's what this. That was the respect back in the day. It was like they could have went crazy in front of the house and went crazy. No. They said, "Hey, ma'am, how you doing?" And we walked around the corner. We did what we had to do, young boy stuff. But my thing is, it was the simple fact that there was a little bit of, at least a baseline of respect and a baseline of, okay, we're not going to do that kind of degeneracy in front of the house or in front of the parents. And so a lot of the kids nowadays don't care. So I'll land on that. I just, again, we got to bring that shit back and bring it back.
Wait, Marshall. I was talking about your program, like how you were saying you wanted to go around to certain areas, talk with the children. You also do a form of martial arts, prevention type stuff or intervention, Marshall.
Yes. I apologize. I was speaking on the front.
Yeah, go ahead.
Marshall, she's not letting nobody slide today, bro.
Yeah, she's on our heels today.
So, okay.
See, that's what it, BX is ready to eat for everybody. That's the energy. I love it. But the program I'm creating. I'm still working on the 513C. It's called Cube, which is cleaning up the block and environment. Again, it's Cube, cleaning up the block and environment, where we're going to these inner city places, the Bronx, Philly. Different places. I've already been doing it by myself, but now I'm going to officially make a 513C and do that. And we talk to the inner city kids. We hire people with skills, CDL skills or different skills to come out there and show them a different route. Because a lot of these kids, the reason why they're doing a lot of this degeneracy and degenerate things is because they are bored. They have nothing to do, right? They have no opportunities and there's no programs. The programs are being stripped from the schools. So now, if we, because again, nobody cares for us more than we care for ourselves. So if we not caring for ourselves and respecting ourselves, who going to come out to be the Superman and care for us and not respect us? So I decided on my own that I want to bring these programs to the inner city kids and the inner city schools. I want to start up by showing them that clean up the block, right? Literally cleaning up the block, the community, but also cleaning up the mindset. Also, the most important thing, right? Bringing different jobs, because again, it sounds good telling people what to do, what not to do, but at the end of the day, you really want to make people move, you got to put money in their pockets, because that's another reason why people are doing some of the things they're doing, because they're not getting the money in their pockets, so they reduce themselves to some of the degenerate, things that they do. So if we start showing them different opportunities, job opportunities, business opportunities, this is going to alleviate some of this degeneracy that we're seeing on a day to day. And I'll land on that.
Yep. All right, yeah, I agree. And that is a community looking out for each other, which is our culture. All right. And that's what we're doing. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. I think, we had a lot of different solutions, people speaking from different angles, people addressing different problems, because this is a multi-layered problem. So we need multi-layered solutions. And we're providing that. Okay. And as our brother Marshall was saying, that we're not out here not holding each other accountable. So for everybody who's all like, all y'all do is talk about immigrants, all y'all do is talk about white folk, all y'all do is no. We want the best for the community, point blank, period. So that means if we have to talk about people from outside the community who are a problem to the community, we're going to do that. Okay. And be unapologetic. If we got to talk about people in the community who are a problem for the community, we're going to do that and be unapologetic. You see, we're not holding anything back. You see, we're not sparing the kids or making it seem like the kids should get a pass because they're in the community. Okay. We're not doing that. We're saying, you know what? If you're a problem to the community, we're going to address you as such. And this is what we're doing. And I think we're setting a good example by just even having this conversation. So I want to thank you all for that. All right. We're going to let you go. Y'all get to enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Thank you very much. Make sure you follow For the Culture on YouTube.
Thank you for having me, brother. ZZ, BX, definitely a pleasure, always.
Always. Peace, love, light, and reparations. Be one to my foundational Black American family.
Be one. Peace.